Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, dear student. Today we are going to discuss chapter number 1, History of Pakistan, period 2, week 1, book Pakistan Study for class 10, Balochistan textbook board, Quetta. Topic 12, Constitution 1973. This is the most important topic, and we are going to discuss about the Constitution 1973 or the constitutional reform. It is also called the constitutional reforms, page 9-10 in your textbook. The main points of the constitutional reforms: first of all, the formation of the Constitutional Committee on 17th April 1972. So on 17th April 1972, the National Assembly formed a constitutional committee, and this constitutional committee consists of 25 members, and these members, they were selected from all the political party in the parliament. Next point is the submission of the draft of recommendation on 2nd Feb 1973. So when this constitutional committee was formed, so on 2nd Feb 1973, the constitutional committee put up the draft of recommendation in the National Assembly, which was approved. This draft of recommendation or the suggestion presented by the Constitutional Committee on 2nd Feb 1973, it was approved on 10th April 1973. So this draft of recommendation was presented by the Constitutional Committee in the National Assembly, and it was approved on April 10th, 1973. Next point is enaction of new democratic parliamentary constitution on 14th August 1973. So after the approval by the President of Pakistan, after the approval of the recommendations of the draft recommendation presented by the Constitutional Committee, on 12th April, the new democratic parliamentary constitution was enacted on 14th August 1973. And under this constitution, parliamentary constitution was it means that this constitution was totally the parliamentary constitution. The powers under the parliament and the National Assembly and the Senate. So according to this constitution, Chaudhry Fazl Ilahi was elected as the president, and Zulfikar Ali Bhutto was elected as the Prime Minister of Pakistan. So this picture relevant about the formation of the Constitutional Committee or the legislative committees. Next, topic 13, silent features of the 1973 Constitution, or the main features or the points of 1973 Constitution. The first one is the written constitution. Written constitution means the constitution of 1973 of the Islamic Republic of Pakistan exists in the written form. It exists in the written form, and it has 280 articles. There are 280 articles in the constitution of 1973. The next main feature is Islamic provision. Islamic provision. Under the Islamic provisions, the important point is objective resolution. So what is an objective resolution? The objective resolution is actually the first constitutional document that proved the establishment of constitution in Pakistan, and it was presented by Liaquat Ali Khan, who first made the legislative committee or the legislative assembly. So the first legislative assembly of Pakistan in March 1949 has been made a substantive part of the constitution of 1973. And what was the main proclaim or the main aim of the objective resolution? That also become the main point of the Constitution 1973, that absolute sovereignty over the entire world or the universe belongs to Allah Almighty alone. That is the main belief of the Islamic society. And it was decided that the state shall exercise its authority through the democratically elected representative. Islam shall be the state religion, and the president and the prime minister of the country must be the Muslims. So this was the Islamic provisions, and the main points were taken from the objective resolution. Objective resolution was presented by the first legislative assembly. Legislative assembly means the assembly that make the rules, that make the law. So it was presented by the first legislative assembly, and that became also the main point of the Constitution 1973. All the acts and all the deeds, they will be followed according to the Islamic rules and regulation. That was the main aim. The next point, so relevant picture is about the objective resolution that was presented by Liaquat Ali Khan, Prime Minister of Pakistan Liaquat Ali Khan, in March 1949. These are the members of the Legislative Assembly, and that are the main features of the Constitution 1973 in a picture form. And this picture shows the law and the legislative assemblies. The law and order comes under the Constitution. Topic 13, remaining silent features of the Constitution 1973. The next one after the Islamic provision is the parliamentary system of the government. So the parliamentary system of the government has been set up under the Constitution. The parliamentary system of the government means that the government run by the Parliament, the Senate and the National Assembly, they come under the Parliament, and the National Assembly elects a Prime Minister who is the chief executive of the country, and that will be accountable, and he will be accountable or the answerable to the National Assembly. Such kind of parliamentary system of the government will be one in the country under the Constitution 1973. The next point is the Federal Constitution. The Constitution makes Pakistan a federal republic. So means the formula power sharing between the federation and the provinces is well defined, means that the power sharing among the provinces depends upon their winning majority. Next point is free judiciary. Under the Constitution 1973, it secures the independence of the judiciary, that the judiciary will be independent, that will not come under and that will not be underestimated by any powers. It will be free for making its decision. Next point is rule of law. So all the citizens of Pakistan, they are made accountable before the law irrespective of their ethnicity. Ethnicity means of their caste, of their language, and of their rank. So they have to follow the rules beside their caste and other identification. The rule will be same, and the rule will be equal for all the citizens to be followed. There will not be any priority to not follow the rules on the basis of the caste, language, and the rank. Each and every citizens, they have to follow the rules. So now in this picture, you can see the Constitution. Then the Constitution, it is going to be mentioned in 3 points. First one is the legislative power. Legislative power, the main comes under the Ministry, House of Representation, and the Senate. And then the executive power, the Governor General comes under the executive power, and the Governor General again going to be attached with the Ministry, the Governor General, and all the government departments. Then the judicial power is the third one, High Courts and the other federal state. So these are the points come under the constitutions or the departments: legislative power, executive power, and the judicial power. Again, the legislative assemblies that makes the law, and this is the picture of a parliament addressing. The next topic 13, constitutional reforms. Still the remaining point, and the next point is fundamental rights, basic rights. Fundamental rights mean basic rights. So the constitution ensures the fundamental rights to all the Pakistani citizens irrespective of their religion, ethnicity, of their caste. The constitution also guarantees the rights of the minorities, not only the Muslim but also the people living in the country belonging to the other religion. Their rights were also ensured by the constitution. The next point is the national language. So Urdu declared as the Pakistani national language, it is provided that necessary steps shall be taken to make the Urdu the official language of the country within the next 15 years. Under the constitution, it was decided that for the next 15 years, Urdu will be the national language in the country, and till then, the English shall continue as the official language. Before that, English will be continue as the official language. The next point is high treason. The constitution articulates that whoever revoke or disobey the constitutional by the unconstitutional means or the attempts to do so shall be the guilty of high treason. That anyone who will disobey the constitution by the unconstitutional means, unconstitutional ways, so he will be feel guilty and he will be punished, the high treason. It was decided in the constitution 1973. So the fundamental rights or the basic right comes under the article 8 and 9 of the constitution 1973. Then Urdu decided to be the official language for the next 15 years. After the next 15 years, and again for the high treason, the picture relevant that any person who disobey the constitution by the unconstitutional means, they will be feel guilty and will be punished. Let's come towards evaluations, and once again you can only attempt the evaluation, you can only answer the question if you have listened carefully and tally all the main points with your textbook. The first one, how many members were there in the Constitutional Committee? How many members? 25 members were there in the Constitutional Committee. When and by whom the Constitutional Committee was formed? Constitutional Committee was formed by the National Assembly on 17th April 1972. This is also your revision. So the next question is, when the new parliamentary constitution was enacted? The new parliamentary constitution was enacted on 14th August 1973. Who was elected as the president, the prime minister under the constitution? Chaudhry Fazal Ilahi was selected as the president, and Zulfikar Ali Bhutto was selected as the prime minister under the constitution 1973. Evaluation continue. Remaining points, remaining questions. When and by whom the objective resolution was presented? Objective resolution was presented by the first legislative assembly formed by Liaquat Ali Khan in March 1949. Define the objective resolution. Objective resolution, actually the first constitutional document that really proved the establishment or the development of the constitution in Pakistan. What was the main proclaim or the main aim of the objective resolution? The objective resolution proclaims that absolute sovereignty over the entire universe belongs to Allah Almighty alone, and that also became the main point or the article of the Constitution 1973. How many articles are there in the Constitution 1973? So there are 280 articles in the Constitution 1973. Now it's time for the assignments. Constitutional reforms of Z.A. Bhutto. You have read about the constitution. I have explained the constitutional reforms and the points. Then silent features of 1973 constitution. All these points that we have discussed, they are the silent features of 1973 constitutions, and that is the picture relevant to your assignment, that you have to attempt your assignments on your registers and the notebooks. Then you will submit your assignments for the checking. Relevant objective exercises. You will find the relevant objective exercises on page number 22, 23, question number 1 and 2. So this will come under your objective exercises. So students, hope this video will be beneficial for you. If you find any difficulty to re-understand the point, confusing point, to attempt your objective exercises or your assignments, you can give your feedback, but it is compulsory for you to listen these lectures carefully and to submit your assignments seriously. Thank you and Allah Hafiz.